Time now for a segment called Entre nous, or Between Us, and we can bring in France 24's Solange Mougin. Solange, this week you're looking at why French pay slips are so complicated to read. I mean, do you even read yours and do you understand it?
That is the big question. Many people in this newsroom do not understand theirs, and many people in France as well. But before we get into why they are so hard to understand, let's dig into why we're talking about this. France's Minister of Economy and Finance, Bruno Le Maire, is presenting tomorrow to the French cabinet his plan to simplify French pay slips. Now, this is part of a larger push by the government to streamline some aspects of French bureaucracy. In regard to pay stubs, France may indeed be the champion of the world when it comes to complex slips. Now, on average, there are about 50 lines on a French one, whereas in Belgium, the UK, Spain, the average is about 15 to 16 lines of texts and deductions. Now, it's even less than that in Spain, in Japan, and in the US. Needless to say, many employees in France, well, they throw in the towel when it comes to understanding all of those lines.
What I look at especially is how much I'm going to make, the net, if there are bonuses, overtime hours. We often don't know where to look, so you have to decipher the pay slip.
I don't understand all the lines. What interests us is the take-home pay.
Now, the government's plan is not a complete overhaul. It wants to reduce the number of deduction lines to around 30 in order to, according to the government, help employees and employers who will have until 2027 to make sure that their stubs are streamlined.
So clearly the government realized that this is an issue because previous governments have tried to tackle this in the past, right?
They have. In French, these precious documents are called fiches de paye or bulletins de paye, and they first actually became mandatory in 1931 when, at the time, they were simply handwritten slips of paper given out with cash envelopes. Now, over the decades, the lines corresponding to different taxes and deductions, like retirement, like healthcare, unemployment, they were added. And this gets to the heart of why French pay slips are so complex. They're a reflection of the many social protections and the government bodies that this money goes to. Now, employees contribute every month to them, which is the difference between gross pay, or brut, as we say in French, and net pay, or what we take in our pockets, get in our pockets at the end of every month. It's about 23% less between the two. Now, on top of that, the employers also pay what's called charges patronales. These vary between 25 and 40%, and it's money that the employee actually doesn't see, at least not immediately, and then it's sent to lots of different places. Prior to a major reform in 2017, which regrouped these deductions into different categories, the French payslips were essentially a long list of incomprehensible acronyms.
Salary before taxes? Why net before taxes?
EGFF CAD, TRA,
Health insurance for kids, healthcare cover.
pension CAD, TRB, FF CAD, TRB. I don't understand anything.
So since that reform in 2017, pay slips have been simplified, but they're confusing.
Yeah, they are indeed very confusing. Since 1998, there have been 5 laws or decrees to simplify things, but the stubs still have this very strong reputation of being incomprehensible. Some reforms have not been effective. Others actually have helped pay slips. They are now digital. Personal income taxes are deducted every month. But some fear that simplifying things too much, well, it could create conflicts at the office.
Do we really want companies and employees to get in conflicts because of a lack of clarity? A payslip is a source of information. It allows people to know why, at the end of the month, they receive this or that amount of money.
Now, according to the government's plan, employers will have to provide a line-by-line detail of where all of that money goes if the employee requests it, even if it isn't detailed on your payslip. And the government also is giving employers until 2027. Employers will have to hold on to the payslips for 50 years, or at least until the employee is 75. As for us employees, well, we're supposed to hold on to our payslips our entire lives, even if we don't fully understand them.
Well, another thing that's on the pay slips, besides your salary, is how many days leave you have left.
Yes, indeed.
And the date you join the company.
Yes, and that alone is quite complicated. Because
I know how to read that.
Yeah, it shows what you're going towards, what you're accruing for the next year.
Solange, thank you very much for that. Solange Mougin there, breaking down the very complicated French pay slips for us. More news coming up with me. Stay with us.